Hey YouTube, I've been playing my Chaos Dragon deck at my local tournament for the last, local tournaments that is, for the last maybe 2 months, and I've been doing pretty decent as of late with it, and I've made a few changes to it, and I'd like to show you guys them. I also found 3 engines that work in the Chaos Dragon format, and you could usually pick your own of the 3, and they work rather well. You might have to bend your deck a little bit to fit it a little better, but this is more of a framework for a basic Chaos Dragon build that you can then interchange those 3 engines in, and it works decently with all 3. So, here we go. First, I'd say 1 Blackluster Soldier, 1 Dark Armed, 1 Gores, and 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You can run 2 Gores if you want, you can even throw in a Tragoedia, but I don't like having too many of them in hand because I feel like it stalls, and the only option I have at that point is to get attacked and then special summon Gores or Tragoedia. So, with those 3 out of the way, we have what makes this deck the Chaos Dragon deck, and that is the 3 dragons, which is 3 Light Pulsar, and I include 1 Dark Flare. Dark Flare, I feel like it is entirely optional, and if you like it, you can run it, and that's the reason I run it. It really does work well with a specific one of the 3 engines that I'm about to name, and I'll say it when I get to that engine, but for now, I'm going to keep going. The one engine that I don't think is interchangeable at all in this deck, and is pretty much necessary in my mind, is the lightsworn engine. And with that, you have 3 Lumina, 3 Raiden, and 2 Lila. Now, the Lila, I do feel like it's optional, and you can bump out the 2 Lila if you have other cards you like to keep. But I really do keep Lila because it's basically an MST, and with Lumina, you can pop any card in your hand, special summon a Lila from the graveyard, and basically get an MST anytime you need it if you have the ability to normal summon a Lumina and 1 card in your hand. So it's really, really not that bad. You could also use Lumina's effect to special summon another Lumina, use that Lumina's effect to special summon Raiden, and then you have the ability to either XYZ into something like a Dante for another 3 mils, or you could synchro between the Raiden and the Lumina, and you can make yourself something beautiful like a Michael if you want, or a Black Rose Dragon, Clear Ring Synchro. It really is up to you. There's a lot of possibilities with one summoning a normal summoning of a Lumina, popping any card you have in your hand to the graveyard, and it can be this card as well. So if you want to special summon a Raiden, but you don't have one in the graveyard, as long as you have a lightsworn in the graveyard, you can use Lumina's effect to send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, send the Raiden, and then you can special summon that Raiden as long as there's a lightsworn target in the graveyard, which I think is really, really good. So you could basically special summon any lightsworn from your hand if you have 1 in the graveyard and a Lumina on the field. Next up is something I just like to have, but you can do 2 Baby Dragon Black Dragon Collapsiprints and 2 White Dragon Wyver Bursters. These are, I feel, necessary, but you don't have to run 2 of each. I just like to run 2 of each, as well as 1 Eclipse Wyvern. Don't know why that wasn't in the pile, but Eclipse Wyvern is really important because you use that. Once you mill that, you can special summon it. Wait, my bad. Once you mill Eclipse Wyvern, you can use it to send Red Eyes Darkness Metal to the banished zone. Then once you banish Eclipse Wyvern by either special summoning one of these 2, you can, or special summoning a Light Pulsar or Dark Flare, you get the Red Eyes Darkness Metal to your hand, and then you can special summon it by banishing any dragon on the field. What I like about these 2 is you can use them as synchro material with a Raiden, and if you summon one of these and you use it as a synchro material for something like a level 8 synchro monster, you actually get the opposite to your hand. So if this is sent to from the field to the graveyard, you get this. If this is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get that. And if you have the ability to keep summoning monsters, you can quite literally pull all 4 of these in 1 turn and then have light and dark fodder in your graveyard for special summoning other cards. Next, I have 2 Effect Veiler, 2 Plague Spreader, and 1 Glow Up Bulb. Effect Veiler is just to stop people from fucking you over on their main phases, and maybe like special summonings to Tellarknights. And Plague Spreader is good because you can bounce it. So if you have a Light Pulsar on the field, you could summon a Plague Spreader normally, and then you could synchro it to a level 8. Plague Spreader goes to the graveyard. Discard 1 card from the top of your discard 1 card from your hand and put it on the top of your deck. Special summon this again, and then you can synchro into level 10 like Leo, or that crazy big dragon, I can't remember his name right now, but you'll see it in a second. And Glow Up Bulb, because when it's milled, you get to special summon it by sending another card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. So it's a card that mills, and when it's milled, it works really well as well. You can only use it once per turn. That's the only reason I have 1 of them. Otherwise, I'd have more than 1. You can actually only use it once per duel, both players. So it's a little strict. The next part of the deck is just the basic spells before I get to the other actual important engines, and that is 2 Solar Recharge, 2 Charge of Light Brigade, 1 Raigeki, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Foolish Burial. That's what I run. You can change it if you want. I feel like 3 Solar Recharge is too cloggy. I wish I could do 3 Charge of the Light Brigade, but unfortunately it's limited to 2. But yeah, Foolish Burial is just a quick way to get a Eclipse Wyvern to the graveyard, or a dark fodder in your graveyard, or light fodder. It's an easy way to get the monster attribute you need in the graveyard. And Raigeki is Raigeki, so yeah. Traps at that point, I do run only 2 Trap Stun and 2 Royal Decree. Now, I was running 3 Royal Decree, but I decided not to do it. Trap Stun, I feel like, is a little more effective, because if you need to side deck in other cards that are traps, Royal Decree screws you over as well as them, but Trap Stun only messes them up, so it's not that bad. And now for the other engines in the deck that I feel like are interchangeable. The one that I run and that I really like is 3 Odd Eyes Dragon, not the Pendulum version, and 2 Odd Eyes Saber. The way this works is if you have an Odd Eyes Saber in the hand and you have a light monster in the field, like a Lumina, like a Lila, any light monster that's, attribute is light, you can special summon Odd Eyes Saber from the hand by sending one of these from the deck or hand to the graveyard. And if you think about it, basically you're special summoning this and sending a light and dark monster to your graveyard, which would allow you to special summon a light pulsar, a dark flare, and you can go on and build from there. So it is a really, really good engine. Plus, these are level 7s, both of them, which means you can synchro into a big eye, not synchro, you can XYZ into a big eye if you have both on the field, or you can get a Draco Sack out, you can get a Red Eyes Flare Dragon, the XYZ, and that one really, really stops people from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you have the option to do that and pull out a level 7 XYZ on your first turn or second turn, I'd say, it works rather well for doing that. Now, the next engine is a Shadal engine, and I run, personally, if I use it, 1 Dragon for popping back row, 2 Beasts for drawing, and 2 Squamata, simply because Squamata lets me pick out the other 2. If you want to run more Shadals, you can. I don't run any of the Shadal spells yet, but that's basically because I couldn't find any of them and any of the fusions to use yet. But a Shadal, maybe lightsworn Chaos Dragon deck could run well, and I have used Shadal before and it's pretty effective. And if you don't want 2 Lila, I'd suggest putting 2 Falco in. Ooh, that's way off camera. Putting 2 Falco in, because if you put 2 Falco in, it allows you to be either special summon Falco. Yeah, if you mill Shadal Falco, you get it special summoned to the field. And if it's flipped, you get to special summon any other Shadal card in your graveyard to the field. If this is flipped, you get to draw a card. If this is flipped, you get to destroy a monster. So it works out rather well. My next engine that I like to use, but I don't have cards to use it too effectively yet, is 2 Curry Bandit, because this allows you to draw spells really easily. 1 Tour Guide and 2 Scarm. Now, Tour Guide lets you special summon a monster, and its effects are negated, and it can't be used as a synchro material. But you could use Tour Guide to special summon Scarm, and Scarm's effects are negated, which allows it to stay on the field, and then you can immediately synchro into something like a Dante, an Acid Golem, a Wind-Up Zamenis, however you want to pronounce that. Scarm's really good too, because if it gets sent to the graveyard, I'm just making sure I don't say the effects wrong. If you control, if this card, if you have no spell or traps, you could actually special summon it from the hand, and if it's sent to the graveyard, this turn you can add 1 level 3 Dark Fiend to the hand, so you could add Curry Bandit or Tour Guide to the hand for the next turn to pull out another play. If you add Curry Bandit to the hand with Scarm's effect, it's really good, because the next turn that means you can pop Curry Bandit down, mill 5 cards, and then pick any spell or trap out of that you want that got milled. So if you mill a Charge of the Light Brigade, it works really well. If you mill a Trap Stun, a Royal Decree, whatever you're running, it really does work rather well. Now, those are the 3 engines that I feel are interchangeable, but if you also want to use a card or 2 without Lila, and you want to use the Curry Bandit Scarm Tour Guide engine, I'd suggest putting in 2 Mathematicians, because Mathematician allows you to just basically act as a Foolish Burial from your deck to the graveyard immediately whenever you want when you summon it, and if it's destroyed, you get to draw a card. I feel like that works really well with the Curry Bandit and the Scarms. But I'd say use that in place of Lila. Now, if you add another lightsworn, or you want to, I've pulled a lot of these already from the tins, and it's not bad at all. So if you want to add a Fellis, you can. It works rather well. If it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, not from a, it has to be a monster effect. If it's sent to the graveyard from a monster effect, you get to special summon it, and you can tribute this card on the side of the field to destroy one monster your opponent controls, and then mill 3 cards from the top of your deck. So that's not bad either. Now, I'm going to go into my side deck quick, and then I'm going to explain my extra deck. I really don't have too many doubles of cards in here, but I do like to run one Gen X Ally Birdman, because that allows you to pop any monster on the field back to your hand, special summon this. So say you have a Lila on the field and a Lumina, and you can't synchro or anything like that, you can pop Lila back to your hand with Gen X Ally Birdman, and you have 2 3s, and you can do something with it. This is a tuner too, so you can get a Goyo out of that, or you can get a Dante. You can get any level 3 XYZ, so it works really well. A Thunder King Raiden, just because that messes people up really, really bad, and I love to do that. Pero Cerberus, because if that's sent to the graveyard, it can, well, actually not if it's sent to the graveyard. When it's sent to the graveyard and you take battle damage, you can destroy any monster on the field, which is really good because you're going to be milling a lot. So if you mill this and then take battle damage, you can knock out any card, really. You could probably knock out a diamond if you really try. I do run one Tragoidia in my extra deck, and one Chaos Sorcerer as well, because it is a Chaos deck, and if I need to banish monsters, I put this in. Let me just pick these up, and I'll move on to the spells. I don't run too many monsters in the extra deck, only because the deck is already mostly monsters. Next, I run 3 MSTs, and this is if I decide to take out Lumina and I just want to go a more direct route. I'll run one of the 3 or 2 of the 3 MSTs. I only keep 3 just in case I know someone runs really, really heavy back row and they're limiting me with everything I do. My 3rd Solar Recharge, just in case, and a Burial from a Different Dimension, which is really good because you get to choose 3 cards that you've banished and then send them from the banished zone back into the graveyard, which allows you to have plays where you special summon a Light Pulsar, and then you banish 2 cards, play that, you get another Light Pulsar that's in your hand, you can special summon it using the 3 cards you just brought back. It works out really well for getting a lot of monsters on the field really quick. It's almost like a Soul Charge, but for monsters that banish. Next, I run the 3rd Royal Decree that I had, a Vanity's Emptiness, and 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors, and 1 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Now, because of the 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors, Vanity's Emptiness and Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, you can basically square off against Necros. You could square off against almost Shaddolls. Shaddolls I really do have a tough time with. Maybe I might bump this up to 2 and take out the 3rd Royal Decree. And Light Imprisoning Mirror combined with Vanity's... My bad. Light Imprisoning Mirror combined with Vanity's just messes up Satellar Knights, and I beat a Satellar Knight 2-0 straight with my deck, and that really doesn't happen too often where you get to beat one of the top 5 decks with just Chaos Dragons. That doesn't happen much, but if you play the deck well, especially if you know you're going to be versing someone that Shaddolls or Light Pulse, I mean not Light Pulsar, Shaddolls or Satellars, you can use the 2 Curry Bandits to pull 5 cards, and if you mill 5 cards, more than likely you'll get one of these to the hand, and that allows you to at least have a backup plan to fight them in case they start messing you up. Ooh, put that to the side. And one other card I think is very handy in the deck that I don't have right now more than one of is 2 Card Trooper, which if you have, it's a mid-turn 3 card mill, and you get, when it's destroyed, 1 card to the hand. It's also level 3, so you could use it for a Dante, which really, really, really isn't that bad. Anyway, onto the side deck that I run. I run 1 Leo, 1 Wind-Up Zamenis, whatever you want to pronounce that as, 1 Goyo, and the other card I was talking about was a, this is so hard to read because of it, but yeah, that. I'm going to take it out of the card sleeve to read it to you, actually, because I feel like it's unfair not to list it. There we go. Dracos Cytos Corrupted Nether Soul Dragon. The effect, like the hologram on it, I can't read it all. My bad. But yeah, that's another level 10 you could summon, which is really good. I run a lot of level 4s. So I have a Dark Rebellion, XYZ, a Castel. Oop, where's that other level 4? Being sneaky. A Gaga Cowboy, an Exciton Knight. And I also run... Oh, that's it for level 4s, it seems. Other than that, I do run for level 3 besides my Wind-Up Zamains is 1 Acid Golem, which I think works really well because it's 3000 beater. You know, you can pull that out first turn if you have a Lumina in the graveyard. I run 1 level 7 XYZ, which is a number 11 Big Eye, and I also run the Ghost Rare Red Eyes Dark Flare, or Red Eyes Flare Metal, whatever you want to call it. that I pulled from the booster box I bought. I also feel like Cataster, 2 Michaels, a Black Rose, which you can alternate with the other form of Black Rose, or a Clear Wing. I feel like that works really well. A Stardust, which you can use either Stardust or Stardust Spark. Stardust protects the entire field. Stardust Spark can protect 1 card, even itself, and a Scrap Dragon. Because if you're running light and dark imprisoning mirrors, Scrap Dragon is your only chance to not screw yourself over too much, and it's a level 8, so you can summon it pretty easily with either a Plague Spreader and a Light Pulsar, or either one of the baby dragons and a Raiden. So it works really well. This you do have to pop 1 card on your side of the field though to destroy stuff, which is, you know, okay, but at least with Michael, you have to pay 1,000 life points. So you have 2 choices, and if you have a light imprisoning mirror, you go Scrap Dragon, because, you know, you don't have any other choice because it's not a light monster. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really am sorry if this took a little long, but I am explaining 3 different engines that were inside a Chaos Dragon deck. So I'm going to show you my deck in another video later on, how I run it and the strategies I have, and maybe I'll do some test draws. But for now, that's it, and I want to thank you guys for watching. So if you liked it, don't forget to click subscribe because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.